Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss a single twist of tonight's story. It's one wild ride from start to finish. The city at midnight is a living, breathing organism. Its veins pulse with neon light, and the relentless hum of 1,000 restless souls. Buildings scrape the sky like jagged promises of danger and excitement. And somewhere in this concrete jungle, I exist, Nora 39, a woman trying to hold on to herself amidst the chaos. My life is a rhythm synced to the city's heartbeat. Not the calm, predictable pulse of daylight, but the erratic, intoxicating surge of nightlife. Every week, Derek and I chase it like a drug. My husband, 42, wears the night like armor. To him, every street, every club, every shadowed alley is a canvas to paint adrenaline and abandon. We've built our lives around this nocturnal playground, a labyrinth of thumping bass, swirling lights, and bodies moving like waves in an endless ocean. Clubs aren't just venues. They are worlds unto themselves, each one offering a different flavor of madness. I still remember the heat of those dance floors, the way the bass seemed to punch through my chest, threatening to rearrange my very heartbeat. Strobe lights cut through the dark, flashing red, blue, violet, fracturing reality into shards of color. And Derek, he thrived in it. The lights reflected in his eyes, igniting a fire I could feel before I even saw it. Without warning, he would grab my hand and pull me into the crowd, as if the sea of moving bodies belonged to us alone. "Feel it, Nora," he'd shout over the music, voice raw and electric. And I would laughing, spinning, letting the world blur into motion and sound. Together, we were invincible. Sparks in the same flame, untouchable, unstoppable. Snapshots of our nights replay in my mind with unnerving clarity. The sticky walls of dive bars where we stumbled upon obscure tracks from the 90s. The way Derek would whisper something ridiculous just to make me laugh while the crowd pressed around us. Those smoky floors, the cheap liquor scent mingling with perfume. The silent language of hands finding each other even in darkness. It was ours. But the past year has changed something. Derek is here physically but not emotionally. He lingers on the sidelines, leaning against walls, perched at the bar, studying the chaos, or maybe studying me. Sometimes I catch his eyes during a dance, and they are unreadable. Nostalgia? Regret? Something darker? It's unsettling, like glimpsing a stranger in a familiar face. Tonight, the city draws us downtown again, to a place called Pulse Haven. Even the name promises danger, excitement, electricity. The building rises before us, a 5-story brick relic from the 1920s, scarred by time. Its chipped paint tells stories of decades past. The neon sign flickers. Pulse Haven, blue and electric, struggling to keep pace with the energy inside. A line of eager clubgoers snakes around the block, laughter and chatter mixing with bass vibrating through the walls. The anticipation tangles in my chest, sharp and tangy, like the first sip of a strong drink. Inside, the air hits me like a physical force, thick with sweat, perfume, and excitement. The music pounds relentlessly, each beat vibrating through my bones. Strobes fracture the crowd, turning it into a surreal, moving mosaic. I smooth my black dress, feeling both daring and vulnerable, and wobble slightly in heels that are too high but make me feel alive. Derek is practically glowing, buzzing with restless energy, gripping my hand and pulling me toward the center. "Come on, Nora. You're going to love this," he shouts over the music. But I see the gleam in his eyes, he's hiding something. At the bar, Derek's gaze locks onto someone. I follow his eyes to see Kai, a man who radiates confidence. Sharp features, a smirk that seems to hold secrets, eyes that linger a second too long. My pulse jumps, not from Derek, but from Kai's magnetic presence. "Meet Kai," Derek says, his voice playful but clipped with purpose. "He's got something special for us tonight." Kai gestures toward a narrow staircase hidden behind the bar. "Follow me," he says, smooth and low, carrying a dangerous promise. My heart pounds as we climb, leaving the club's chaos behind. The higher we go, the cooler the air becomes, until we reach a heavy metal door. I step onto the rooftop and stop. The city sprawls endlessly below, lights flickering like fireflies against shadowed towers. Overhead, string lights crisscross, casting a golden glow. A sleek bar glimmers in one corner, a camera rig trained on the skyline in another. The wind bites at my skin, tugging at my dress, grounding me in the vertigo of this hidden world. Derek grabs a bottle and glasses, practically vibrating with excitement. "This is it, Nora," he says, pouring amber liquid that glints in the soft light. I sip, letting the burn anchor me. But the tension is thick, Kai's gaze on me, Derek watching him, a triangle of unspoken words. The city had its own rhythm, one that pulsed through me every time Derek and I ventured out at night. I could feel it in my bones before I even stepped onto the streets. The electric anticipation, the distant hum of traffic, the promise of chaos waiting just around the corner. Tonight, though, something felt different. Derek had that familiar glint in his eyes, but it wasn't the same as before. It was sharper, almost secretive, like he was holding back a thrill he didn't want to share just yet. As we approached Pulse Haven, the building seemed to thrum with life. The neon sign flickered and buzzed like a heartbeat, the line of people outside a moving ribbon of energy. I felt the familiar rush, the mix of fear, excitement, and the undeniable lure of the unknown. Inside, the air was thick with sweat, perfume, and the bass vibrating through every inch of the floor. I adjusted my black dress, smoothing the fabric over my frame, trying to maintain some semblance of control. But heels too high and a pounding heart made balance more of a challenge than usual. Derek, as always, seemed untouchable, grinning, confident, completely alive in the chaos. Then I noticed him, Kai. The moment Derek's gaze locked onto Kai, a jolt of something I couldn't name ran through me. Kai's eyes flicked toward me briefly, holding my gaze a second too long. He had a presence, magnetic and unsettling, pulling me into a tension I couldn't shake. "Meet Kai," Derek said, a strange playfulness in his tone. "He's got something special for us tonight." Kai didn't smile immediately. His smirk was subtle, controlled, as if he knew more than he let on. He gestured toward a narrow staircase behind the bar. "Follow me," he said. Smooth, low, confident, carrying a promise I couldn't place. My pulse raced as we climbed, leaving the pounding music and flashing lights behind. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the air was thickening with anticipation. The higher we went, the cooler the air became, until we reached a heavy metal door. Kai pushed it open, revealing a rooftop oasis suspended above the city. String lights crisscrossed overhead, casting a warm golden glow. The city spread endlessly before us, a glittering web of light and shadow. Derek immediately gravitated to the small bar set up in the corner, pouring drinks with a flourish. "This is it, Nora," he said, grinning. I took a sip, letting the burn of amber liquor ground me. But the tension between the three of us was almost tangible. Kai's eyes lingered on me, and Derek noticed, though he didn't react in the way I expected. "No yelesi, no iretaschen." Just a careful, measured calm, as if he was testing something, waiting for the right moment. We spoke little at first, letting the wind and the city hum around us. Kai's presence was electric, almost hypnotic, his every word measured and deliberate. Derek's energy, usually explosive, was tempered tonight, calculated, mysterious. Then it happened. A flicker of movement in Kai's eyes, a subtle nod, a look Derek didn't miss. Something passed between them, a signal, a silent understanding I couldn't decode. My heart skipped. What were they hiding? What game was Derek playing, and where did I fit in it? Before I could ask, a sound came from the other side of the rooftop, a soft click, followed by a faint hum of machinery. My eyes darted to the camera rig near the edge. It wasn't just a security camera. This was something else, something orchestrated. My stomach twisted. I realized I had stepped into a world far more intricate than any club night I had known. Derek turned to me, his smile returning, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. "Trust me, Nora," he said, voice low. "Tonight changes everything." I looked at Kai, then back at Derek. The tension coiled tighter inside me, a mixture of fear, curiosity, and exhilaration. And then the rooftop door clicked shut behind us. At that moment, I understood. Whatever was about to happen, there was no turning back. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride. Don't forget to subscribe for the next twist in the story. Stay tuned, because what happens next will change everything.